Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort. And, really fun 3-hour program lined up today. Guest heavy on a Wednesday. Erin Rynning coming up in 30 minutes. One of the best NBA bettors in the world. We'll get his thoughts on games that we have coming up tonight. It's a huge slate. Sal Palantonio on the program. Mike Palm in studio. Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon, typically in 15 minutes, but he's been pushed back to the final hour of the show today. And Matt Humans as well. All right, so, Pauly, here on this Wednesday now, as we have had a couple of days to think about the Super Bowl, we're a little bit now more removed from Championship Sunday. More props continue to come out. This will continue to be a thing into tomorrow. And then on Friday, Westgate and Circa will keep dropping them, no question, here in Las Vegas and in other states as well. And some of these are outstanding. I do believe, and I'll get to one of these coming up in a minute, I don't think I've ever seen this prop before in my life for the Super Bowl. So we'll get to that. Mm-hmm. I know that you are itching to bet this prop if you haven't already. Right?
There's a lot of the creativity and imagination started in the last couple of days. There's some great stuff out there. There's also some stuff I don't recall seeing before.
Okay, so you can't stand Jake Elliott, right? You want nothing to do with this guy other than fading him.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the missed extra point.
I can't believe he's on the team.
It's plus 330.
Yeah.
Not him in the game. Will somebody miss an extra point plus 330? So at first blush, when you saw that number, was that something that you were willing to bet?
Yes. That also ties into, I think there'll be a 2-point conversion. And then the madness starts from a square standpoint, too, if that happens. Not to mention there could be a penalty again, and they could go for the tush-push at the 1-yard line.
They could.
But I absolutely think this guy's a mess, and it's in his head.
Now, I have the full breakdown here. He missed 1 point after attempt in the regular season. He was 47 of 48. In his career, in 8 years in the regular season, he is 318 for 331. 13 misses in 8 years. That's not that bad. But it's funny, when you get to the postseason, he has missed 5 in his postseason career, including 3 this season.
Pressure, baby. And how bad he is beyond 50.
Yeah, sure.
So
but
that's also, there'll be a missed kick, period.
And I think people are going to fight back and say, well, they're also playing their games outside, and the weather was a little bit dicey, and it's a snow game, and the players had to run out there on the field and try to get the stuff off the field against the Rams and, come up with excuses. And it's going to be in a dome, obviously, in New Orleans, but it is what it is. I mean, in a much shorter sample size, he's missed 5 in the postseason. He's missed 13 overall in the regular season in 8 years. That's a big difference there, percentage-wise.
Yep.
So it's plus 330 on any kicker to miss an extra point in this game.
Yep. Caesars has kick off the upright or crossbar, plus 550. They also have a missed field goal with a fumble and an interception, plus 375. Then we can get nuts and start off with a bang again, opening kickoff to be a touchback. Yes, minus 310. Butker will probably bang it through. I don't think Elliott will do it.
Butker will put it 12 rows up into the stands.
Yeah. Plus 240 might be, we have to reach out to our guy Pete Hamill on that one. But I saw that one today as well.
So you're telling me that will a missed field goal result in a fumble or an INT?
No, there'll be a missed field goal and a fumble and an interception.
Oh, all 3 of them.
Sorry, yeah, plus 370.
I was going to say, that's a creative one.
Yeah. Have you seen this one before? Will there be an interception in the end zone, 9-1?
I believe that was available last year.
You have? Okay.
Yep.
Will a quarterback finish with negative rushing yards? 50-1.
Well, that's interesting, but I definitely do not like 50-1 would not be high enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Mahomes in the postseason, and Hurts is one of the best scramblers in football, so I just can't get there with it.
Both teams have a 1-yard touchdown, plus 310.
That's good. I like that one.
that a lot. Yes.
That also ties into one of the most popular bets for a long time is betting the under, right, for the shortest touchdown in the game, 1.5 yards. We have to pay juice on that one.
Yep. Glenn and Quincy, when we met him at Foxwoods, loves that in big games. Chiefs to convert a 4th down, minus $2. Time of the shortest drive for a score, 59.5 seconds. You don't like the over?
Oh, that's interesting.
59.5 seconds. It's got to be a turnover.
Well, that's going to, right, because you love the no defensive special teams touchdown. So, and again, these teams do not turn the ball over for the most part. So if you think that we're going to have like 0 or 1 turnovers overall in the game, then I'm going to guess, what is it going to be? Barkley, 77 yards, first play again, bam, touchdown in your face?
Yeah. I like the over on that. I mean, that's longest quarterback rush over 16.5 yards.
That's probably right. That's a good number,
I think so?
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a touchdown on fourth down, plus 280.
Yeah, we've had that one before.
We have, yep. Onside kick successful, 18-1. And will a team be down double digits, come back to win, like 2 years ago?
I like
plus
that one.
350. That's good. One more. Sorry. Will Barkley break the record? Timmy Smith, 205, 10-1. I saw the ladder at Caesar stopped at 180.
That's interesting.
Which was 8-1.
Yes. They never allowed him to go for the regular season record, but this is a whole new ball game. Let's say he has 150, and they're up by 10 in the fourth quarter, and they have the ball. Why not try to get him the record?
Yep. What will happen first, touchdown or a sack? Touchdown minus 145. I kind of like the plus money there.
I would lean sack on that one.
Right. And will the team win the game that has fewer yards? Plus 145.
Well, that could easily be the Chiefs.
Yes, good.
That's how they do it. All this stuff.
Yep.
We've had this before,
Good.
But will the final score of the Super Bowl be a scoregami? Is 20-1. So that means, obviously, for those of you who don't know, that means it's the first ever final score ever in a football game.
I don't mind that. Because how Philly goes for two and the kicking issues. I could see that.
Again, look at some of the wonky stuff we had last week. It was 22-21 at one point, which eventually led to 29-22 and then 29-29 and 32-29. So, but this is the first time I've ever seen this prop, and it's at the Westgate. Will the final score of the Super Bowl be the same as any past Super Bowl score? The yes is 4-1. The no is minus $5. This reminded me of when I saw it, I'm like, that's like the birthday paradox, right? And I Googled that again today. Chartsheen came on like a month ago and broke this down. I think per Wikipedia, again, it's 23 people are required to be in the same room to reach more than about a 50% probability of somebody in that room having the same birthday. So we've actually had the same Super Bowl score 2 different times. 27-10 has happened twice. 27-17 has happened twice. Can it happen again this year? Right? So it'd be 4-1. A team has also, went back and looked at this, the most common final score for a team. It's 17 points. Happened 9 different times, but it's a different, I'm guessing that a lot of this happened many years ago. Modern football, you're getting higher scoring games. The last time 17 was scored, the Pats and the loss to the Giants in 2012. The Giants beat the 2007 Pats by scoring 17 points. It's the only time the winning team scored 17 points. And a team has scored 31 points 8 different times. A team has scored 10 points 8 different times. I was looking at exact scores. Again, last time they played here a couple years ago, super high, like 31-27. That's a kind of a common score overall.
Yeah.
Both ways, that pays about 150-1. Like in that, now again, predicting the exact score of a football game is that's why you're going to get high odds like that.
Yep.
It's not easy, but
also big differences out there. Largest lead, you got 14.5, you have 13.5.
Yeah.
Overtime, I've seen 11-1, I've seen 8-1. Defensive touchdown, where it should be at Westgate, about $3, $3.10,
there
not
you
the
go.
$4.50 at DraftKings. Yep. And then the worthy thing, as we talked about, there's 4.5s, there's 5.5s, there's 6.5s. For longest rush. Samich today has a great breakdown on worthy over prop as well on the website, vsin.com.
I love this creativity from Circa. Again, they are available here in Nevada, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, and Kentucky. They have different MVP markets up. You can bet Mahomes or Barkley to win. The yes is minus 230. And I've more on this with Mike Palm coming up in about 90 minutes. I hate myself. Because 2 different books here in town, Circa and Westgate, they were offering Barkley 3-1. I'm like, okay, I'll bet that. I don't think it's going to disappear. It did disappear. The best now that you can find is plus 275 or plus 280, and I don't think it goes back to 3-1. I should have grabbed 3-1, and Mahomes is now plus 120. Will Mahomes or Hurts win? Yes is minus 195. Hurts or Barkley? Yes is plus 115. And I love the creativity here. If you think it can get a little wonky, and it might not be one of the quarterbacks or Barkley, you might get some randomness in there. You can bet at Circa Sports, you can bet the kicker or defensive player to win the MVP. Yes is 10-1. Kicker has never won it before. A defensive player has won it, the last being Von Miller in Super Bowl 50.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, the way that you can maybe get a little bit creative with that. And overall, breaking it down. And they have other bets like that as well available, but those were the 4 best that I think I found.
Yeah, chime in, ftm@vsin.com, or tweet at us as well, Instagram. Most creative prop you've seen thus far, ftm@vsin.com. So there's some good stuff out there now, and great job by some of these books, and we got a lot more time as well, and we'll dig into some of the stuff, too, with the players, and tied in with, can they do this every quarter and combine for that? There's some good stuff there, too. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or just joining the action, Super Bowl success starts with the VSiN Super Bowl betting guide. It comes out tomorrow and packed with everything you need to make informed wagers, detailed Super Bowl game preview, top trends to watch, top betting strategies and tips, final score predictions, and MVP picks from VSiN hosts. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today as little as $9.99. Get your copy of the guide. The prop analyzer, everything that's up there, phenomenal. VSiN.com/subscribe. Join the team today and get the Super Bowl betting guide. VSiN.com/subscribe.
The prop that you found yesterday, how many Chiefs players will have a reception, and it was 8.5. It didn't take long. I found a 7.5 out there.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the over, I think, was minus 175.
Yeah, okay. 8.5 is now minus 160 on that, too.
To the under.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Just by looking around and from, throwing up a couple of different apps today, here's a bet that I made. People are, everybody's making the case for Dallas Goedert to go over his receiving yards prop. It's moved to like 52.5. I think it was 45 or 46.5. Mm-hmm. Westgate has 12-1 most receiving yards in the game. I had to take some of that. Other spots are like plus 550.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about he'll have a catch every quarter plus 450?
Interesting.
I think he's a big part of the game plan, and they struggle against tight ends.
A lot more on that. And how about this? He's 32-11 over his prop on the season. That's next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Some of these numbers look actually a little too easy, so I'd be a little hesitant to make these bets. For example, how about this? Will Kareem Hunt and Saquon Barkley have 5+ rushing yards in each quarter? It's plus 450.
Yes.
Doesn't that it seems way too easy, Pauly? Mm-hmm. So that tells me, what? Like it could be a 3-and-out for the Chiefs. And, and then they just go down and they pass every time. Hunt might not be on the field. I'm trying to think of angles why I shouldn't bet that. Or they give it to him 3 times and he gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage every single time.
Do you like that more, or do you like Barkley 10 yards every quarter?
What does
that's
that
only
pay?
That's only $1. That's $1.30 though. But you don't have to worry about Hunt.
I don't hate that one. Hurts and Barkley, 5+ rushing yards every quarter, 5-1. Can you get there with Hurts to have 5+ in every quarter?
Absolutely. I could see that. How about Hurts and Mahomes 15 yards passing every quarter? $1.10. That doesn't seem hard either.
See, God.
I know. And then the rushing touchdown thing. Remember the guy cashed the big ticket? Rushing touchdown each quarter's 15-1.
I'm going to end up having 73 bets on this game.
You should.
All this stuff.
Yep.
I'm going to have to hide it all from my wife. Hunt and Barkley 10+ yards in every quarter is 20-1. Now here's one.
I don't think. I think it was Samich too, but under Pacheco under longest rush. I don't think he'll have an impact, and I don't think he'll be a big part of the game.
That's a good
plan.
one.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this again? And I took a little pizza money on this. I want to have some fun with some of these props. Can Mahomes and Hurts each have 5+ rushing yards in every quarter? That's 35-1. At 35-1, that seems like it's possible anyway, right? Because again, big game Mahomes here. The rushing yards prop is 28.5. He'll take off. He's not going to be afraid to scramble. Hurts, that's kind of who he is, what he does. Mm-hmm. They might have a couple of tush pushes in there to help you out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk you off it.
Okay, well, good, because the bet's already been made.
Okay, good. Let me give you this one quickly too. Will the longest touchdown drive, 80.5 yards?
Tell me about that one. Okay, so punt gets downed at 15. Mm-hmm. And then the team marches down and scores, on an 85-yard drive.
All right, if you do it, God bless you. But I'll take the under.
I'm going to say, how many drives are going to start at the 19 or shorter than that from a kickoff return? Any of them?
That's right.
Probably 0.
Mm-hmm. I found that. That's at Will Hill and Caesars, by the way. That's pretty good.
That's interesting. Yeah, I like that. Would you like that one better, or the 59.5 seconds for touchdown drive?
Probably the last one. I would say you're not going to have the quick hitter.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
One of your favorites is longest touchdown, 40.5 yards.
Yes, like that under.
You do?
Yes.
Even with Barkley here.
Under. Yeah, that's risky, I know, but I prefer it if it wasn't Philly with the Barkley angle, but that's,
You're taking a walk on the wild side here.
I've been betting that. I think under 40.5 is the way to go. I had that in the Bills game. He didn't do it in the NFC game.
There you go. That's why, I
know. He puts the fear of God in you, no doubt.
Yeah. Tonight, it's a loaded schedule in the NBA and in college basketball. I wanted to ask the question earlier, like, is 239.5 points enough in this Nuggets-Knicks game? And then the market said absolutely not, and it got beefed up to like 242.5. The first time they played, it was 145 to 118 Knicks. So the Knicks have scored 143 points in consecutive games. Denver has allowed 129, 133, and 123 in their last 3 games. The over is hit in 12 of the last 16 games combined between these two teams. I played a little Knicks, and I'm a little late to the party here, but I played a little Knicks team total over 122.5. I don't think Denver's going to get stops.
No, and they couldn't stop Chicago in the last game, so they might come in a little upset, but this should be a high-scoring affair. I recommended the over with Memphis and the Knicks, and it got there. I think this same thing will happen, and the Knicks, a big week for them, and then Saturday night they're at home against the Lakers on national TV. So they're playing better ball now. They're phenomenal offensively, and I'm not going to talk you off that one. You fire up the prop analyzer today. Again, Bridges, 32 and 15 underrun with his rebounds. You got that one as well. Good game, though.
I'll flip it. Give you a couple of positives here to the over. OG Anunoby, 35 and 12 over 3.5 rebounds. And how about this? Now, shop around. I think DraftKings was the only spot that had Josh Hart's rebounds tonight at 8.5, and I believe it was minus 140. Every other spot was like 9.5. Over was plus money. 12 straight games over 8.5 rebounds. He has been crushing it on the glass. And his points, rebounds, and assists, too, have been really, really good, but it's like 28.5. He went way under that his last game. I know. I bet it was a loser. But he's been really, really good on the glass as well. You know, Karl Anthony Towns at numbers 12.5. Pretty rock solid, I would think, for him. For a number, not bettable in my opinion. And Michael Porter is 35 and 11 over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Christian Braun is 34 and 11 over 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists on the year.
Okay, how about your big boy here with Sabonis? First of all, it's just too many points. Great job by Maxey last night. The Lakers just were a completely different team once Davis got hurt, and now he's out a week. Kings 9 against the Sixers on the road. And then you got the Fox situation going on.
Right.
And according to reports and Shams, they want him to go to San Antonio.
I would love that fit.
I would love that, too. You would really have to adjust futures and think about also the future of the franchise.
I got to tell you, and I watch Spurs games already, not all of them. That might be appointment television.
I concur.
If they get De'Aaron Fox. So now, Paul, money on the Sixers down to 8 in this game. That's here at Circa.
God, it's a lot of points. That's too much. I know you got guys out and back-to-back.
It's a back-to-back's the only thing.
Yeah, they beat the Bulls. They beat the Lakers. They've been playing better.
So I'll give you, the thing with Fox and his player props is I have no idea how to attack him. Is he even going to play like 35 minutes in the game? I don't know what the game plan is going to be there. But two guys who you want to attack. One for me is Malik Monk. Last 10 games, 8 and 2 over 6.5 assists. If you listen to the show at all over the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you know where we're at with this guy. He has been the facilitator a lot more under Doug Christie. So I played over 6.5 at plus 110. And what do you want to do with Sabonis?
Well,
so
I like to bet on streaks, but yeah, go ahead.
It's 32 and 11 over his made threes. He's made a 3 in 12 straight games.
Right, it's a half.
You got to pay like minus 225 today.
Right. You're cutting it thin. It's risky business. Again, it's like Bob Uecker talking to Artie Lang in the booth where he's calling the game, and he would use, here's the 2-2 pitch just a bit outside, and look at the blonde in the front row, and then you hit the cough button. I mean, you make one mistake because he only attempts like 1 or 2 a game, but he's making it. Like the last game, 1 of 1. The game before, 1 of 2.
I think the last game, he finally took a 3 like in the final minutes of the game.
Yeah,
and he hit it.
You're cutting it close. It's 12 in a row, but you're cutting it close because the attempts aren't there. But the guy is making one every single game. So let's make it 13 in a row. Sabonis, to make a 3 tonight. Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VEASAN. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card, most credit card street sports books, and gaming transactions and cash advances, even when you put your own money on a card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. Limited time, get a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now. VEASAN.com/GBank, VEASAN.com/GBank, subject to credit approval.
Yeah. And coming up, by the way, in about 7 minutes, professional sports bettor Erin Rynning is going to join the program. He's one of the very best in the world at betting the NBA. I can't wait to get his thoughts on the Spurs. It's their first game back from France, right? Same thing for the Pacers tonight. They get the Pistons. But the Clippers are playing great ball, man. And they're laying 3.5 against San Antonio in this game. Your guy, Norman Powell, points prop, if you can find 21.5,
Yep.
He is 27-11 over that number on the year. Recent games, 23, 33, 22, 27, 22. You get the point here. 23.
That's the most improved player. That he's got to win it. And that's why he went from 7-1 to plus 175.
Yeah. Now, how about this? Wemby is 7-1 under 23.5 points last 8 games.
Really?
Where'd that come from?
Right.
And Harrison Barnes
Well-
has 7 straight games over 16.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
I was going to answer your question. Someone has told him, knock it off with the threes.
Yeah.
You're taking way too many threes. T-Wall, how about the Suns' little revenge? Suns catching points at home against the Wolves. Suns playing good ball now. They've won 8 of 10.
Yeah.
And then you might get a big trade coming here soon.
So there's a 3-way deal that's being talked about. However, one of them would be Butler. I know you're talking about Butler to the Suns possibly. The other one would be Butler to Golden State.
I saw that too, yeah.
And they'd weave in some other teams to make that happen. Does Butler to Golden State work better than Butler to the Suns, in your opinion?
I know Butler to Golden State doesn't do anything.
It does nothing for me.
No.
Maybe Butler to the Suns can do something.
Yeah. They could win a series or two. I could see that. But Golden State, they need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some other streaks here that we have for player props. Daniel Gafford, 7 straight games over 1.5 assists. His number tonight. You're paying some juice on these assists, but I'll point it out anyway. Jason Tatum, 8 straight games under 40.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Porzingis, 8 straight games over 1.5 made threes. And I bet Ben Simmons tonight.
No.
He's supposed to play. He hasn't played, I think, since January 11th, I want to say. But here's my bet. He's 11-1 over 6.5 assists last 12 games that he's played. 6.5 was, I think, even money when I bet it earlier today. Okay. Again, he doesn't have to go out there and score any point. They're without a ton of guys tonight. But I went back and looked in these games where he's been really good with assists anyway. Like Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas, they've been out for most of the games anyway. So we'll get Erin Rynning's thoughts coming up next. One of the very best there is at betting the NBA. Like we talked about, that Clippers-Spurs game with San Antonio's first game back from France, and how much would he like San Antonio if they were able to trade for De'Aaron Fox?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
He's one of the very best in the world at betting the NBA, has been for several years, and he joins the program now. Professional sports bettor Erin Rynning here on the Progressive Guest Line. ER, good to talk to you again. It's been a minute. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Always good to be with you. And, we kind of in the dog days of the NBA right now. So it's been a really solid first half of the year. Hopefully I can do the same in the second half.
Okay, very good. I want to start with this. The Celtics are laying a huge number again tonight. The Bulls are bad. We all know this, although they just beat the Nuggets. How much have you adjusted your power rating on the Celtics from the beginning of the season? They've lost in this spot like several times already this year, certainly not covering.
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat rare when you have a team that's won, essentially 70% of their games are just under, and about 18-28 against the spread. So it hasn't been good, but it was kind of a somewhat of a perfect storm for this team to be a little bit overrated. Obviously, they came out opening night, couldn't miss a 3-pointer, beat the Knicks big. I had a bet on the Knicks in that game. Started 21-5 straight up, but if you guys have mentioned, and Pauly, they're not winning these games. 11-10 of their last 21 games. But even last year, and this has happened with a lot of teams. I'm not saying they're not the best team, but they got a great ride to the NBA title as they played an 8 seed, a 4 seed, a 6 seed, and a 5th seed to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question that they're extremely talented. And look, the NBA has always been 2 seasons, the regular season and the postseason. And I guess you could probably say that with the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs now. It's just you're going to have a different power rating on the Boston Celtics from the regular season to the postseason. And, it's definitely kind of the dog days are doing some different things. The urgency is definitely not there for this team. So, yeah, I've been trying to bet against them now in these spots, and you're getting some pretty good money lines.
Absolutely.
Going against them.
Yeah.
How about the Cavs and what you think Atkinson has meant to that team? Number 1 offense in the league. A little bit of a rough stretch, though, where they lost 3 in a row. The defense has let them down, and now they're laying 7.5 in Miami tonight. Your thoughts on the Cavs, this game tonight, Miami off an overtime game?
I tell you what, I had been waiting for Kenny Atkinson to get an NBA job for years. I liked him at Brooklyn. I bet him a lot. He was a good coach for the Nets, and
yeah.
I think Golden State has missed him on the sideline. But I had been waiting and waiting. He waited to get the good job here, so I had probably bet Cleveland 80% of their games. I definitely haven't bet against them so far this year. Right now, the second best against the spread team in the NBA. Actually, surprised the Grizzlies were the best, but he's done just a great job. Obviously, a lot of analytics, etc.
Mm-hmm.
With this team. And what I remember reading some of the quotes before he started the season, and he talked about being ahead of the game, being ahead of the league, and doing things that were not being done. And to agree, they have done those things. So they've been phenomenal. It's essentially the same team it was last year, but I think Mobley, they're using him in different ways, and he's improved incredibly as he kind of comes back to this team now. I did not bet them. I did not lay it. And now it does get tricky because, you both have Cleveland and Oklahoma City, and they've had some bad losses here. Cleveland just lost 3 games in a row. So, like I said, it's kind of the dog days. I did not bet them here. I did. My biggest bet tonight is on this game under the total. With Cleveland, we've seen them here of late not play that great a defense. And Atkinson and the team kind of woke up a little bit. And, before that Detroit game said, hey, if we want to be elite team, we can't be middle of the pack defensively. We have to step that up. We saw them hold Detroit to 91 points. They're also playing a lot of zone defense right now, which, if you know basketball, that can bog games down, and nobody plays more zone defense than the Miami Heat here. In fact, Max Strus is kind of trying to explain to this team how they played zone and did it well in Miami. So, that backcourt can be up against it for Cleveland a little bit from a defensive standpoint, but we get a little break. Darius Garland's out tonight for the Cavs. So I still think, under the total is definitely the way to look in this game.
Well, yeah, I think you probably are responsible for moving that number. It was, 228, I think, overnight or earlier this morning anyway. Our guest is Erin Rynning, professional sports bettor here on the Progressive guest line, but 224.5. Great analysis there. You think maybe still worth a bet to the under. What are your thoughts on these two teams coming back? First game now since France, talking about the Pacers and then the Spurs. They're at home, catching 3.5 in that neighborhood against the Clippers team right now, ER, that is playing some pretty damn good basketball.
Yeah, and I guess I'll touch on the Spurs and the Clippers first of all. And the Spurs team is you saw them kind of check out a little bit before taking this trip over to France. I mean, I think they're 1-7 straight up against the spread, very similar. So with a young team, it seemed to be a little bit out of gas or whatever. And let's be honest, they have not done a great job from a personnel perspective, building, and some of these young guys, kind of waiting to take the next step around Wemby. And I'd say they've just been a little bit disappointed here so far. But obviously a huge win against Indiana, blown out in that second game here. So I think this is a very tough spot for, a team that, had already signs of wearing down and almost ready to pack it in and play for next year. And boy, I've bet this Clippers team quite a bit. Really like this team. And now you get Kawhi back in the fold here, playing a lot in the first quarter, the second quarter, not so much at the end of game, but it sounds like that's going to change a little bit. But, as poorly as I talked about the San Antonio team, the Clippers have been kind of the opposite. They've been winning games, definitely covering the spread here. So I bet this game, I like to say around the world, I bet the Clippers first quarter, first half, and the game. I would say probably the Clippers first half is the best way to look at this. I also did take a shot against Indiana. I bet Detroit. A couple of bad efforts, as I mentioned. They took Cleveland's best shot the other night, held to 91 points, beat by Orlando before that. But again, not sure about the spot here for Indiana. Nembhard's been unbelievable for this Pacers team. He's questionable tonight, so that would be actually kind of a key loss for them. But I took Detroit plus the points for a smaller bet. Okay,
very good. What do you make of this total now? And the market has moved it up in the Knicks game as they're hosting the Nuggets. Knicks offense has been on fire, 140 plus. Back-to-back games, the Nuggets defense, the exact opposite. They're getting torched. The first time they played, it was a blowout. Knicks scored more than 140 in that game. Did you happen to have any action on this game earlier today?
I did not bet this. I wanted to play the Nuggets kind of off back-to-back losses here.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been involved a ton with Nuggets. It was funny because I was playing them over the total quite a bit when we saw the style they were playing with the up-tempo and not much defense. And I got off it because I'm like, well, probably no value with this anymore. And it's just been the complete opposite. It's just amazing, like Memphis and Denver just continue to get over the total. It's always tricky in the NBA because you get a certain point and a certain number. Certainly it seems in the 240s where a lot has to go right for four quarters to get these games over the total. So a strong lean here towards Denver. Again, they're off two bad losses and kind of waiting for head coach Michael Malone to blow up and call this team out from a defensive perspective, which he has to a certain degree. And we've seen this team actually respond a little bit defensively when he's done that in the past, and certainly including this year. And, the Knicks are, kind of a tricky team because this defense should be much better, I would think, than it is. I mean, they don't have a lot of rim resistance. The guards can be a little bit of an issue, but middle of the pack for a Tibbs team is definitely out of the norm here.
No doubt. 30 seconds here. Your reaction to the opening number for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, it was about where it was. And I mean, you talked about it here with the NBA. I mean, you just have to have a different power rating with the Kansas City Chiefs from the regular season to the postseason. I mean, because you're going to expect things to go down. But my number did show a little bit of value with Philadelphia, but boy, just hard to go crazy betting against Mahomes in this price range. So for me, it was a smaller bet. I did show a little bit more value under the total, so that's going to be my bigger bet in the Super Bowl. And boy, we've seen it a lot over the years, not when these teams matched up, but I think first half under probably the best bet there.
Very good. Right. Awesome to catch up, ER. Thanks so much for the time. Be good.
All right. Thanks for having me. Have a good night, everybody.
There you go. Pro better, Erin Rynning, as good as it gets. Up next, win some, lose some, including maybe the most improbable thing to happen all year in college basketball.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Would you look at that Kentucky plus 450 on the money line? Down a starter, the other guy banged up, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Carr played 1 minute.
They go into Tennessee and get it done. How about that?
I mean, he continues to do a great job there. And I got to tell you, how about we flip it here with Tennessee?
Yeah, I don't like them.
No, thank you.
No. Don't like them.
That's a really bad loss.
Blazers plus 190 blew out the Bucks at home, and the Sixers plus 170 dominated the Lakers after AD got hurt in the first quarter. You were asking Monday, I found it. Shipley, 100-1 last touchdown of the game.
Is that right?
That was at ESPN Bet. Probably should have been higher, but
well, they might have a thing there too, where the biggest number they can offer on something like that is 100-1. Who knows?
That's incredible. 20-1 anytime as well. Subscribe, be part of the team. vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Thanks to everyone who sends them in. What? You said it. What was Conor McGregor doing at a BYU basketball game? And he's got the hat on, and he's getting the crowd fired up. What am I missing here?
He's going crazy here. BYU. And the entire place is behind him.
Yeah.
That is one of the most unlikely combinations What?
Yeah.
Conor McGregor up there with the BYU code of conduct?
Yeah, that's right.
What happened
Morgan?
here?
Sexual assault.
You could have said that he's going to go to any basketball home court in the entire country, and BYU would have been like the last place I would have selected.
Yeah, I know. Well said. That is nuts. Yep. Thanks to everyone who sends these in every day. Ann, Winky, Scott, great job. Apparently the dog does this every time the owner leaves. Get ready to pack the bag, and the dog just goes in the bag and says, well, you're taking me too. If you're going on a trip, look at that mug. Huh?
I have photos like this scattered throughout my entire phone. My dogs do this every single time.
That's awesome. As you're taking me with you, don't go?
They don't want us to go.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at the big fella. Oh, you're not leaving. No, I'm going to get in the bag myself here. Fit in. Yeah, there you go. Excellent.
I fit right here. Come on.
Lose some. Couple of them. Conference USA. Remember the conference tournament with the curtains in Frisco, Texas? No more. It's in Huntsville, Alabama. We lose it now. Remember they would play games at the same time, kind of like intramural, and they would separate on each court with curtains.
Yeah, whistles blowing all over the place.
Yes,
you don't know where the hell it's coming from.
Yeah. Oh, it's too bad.
I'm going to miss it, I think.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I had a sandwich and a can of soda, and I sat back and I couldn't wait to read the comments after Hal Steinbrenner said the spending like the Dodgers is difficult for most owners. You're worth $7.5 billion, according to Forbes. You make like $500 million a year, and it's, oh, God, how can they do this? And then the comment at the end, because they signed Kirby Yates yesterday for $13 million. They still have to have a season that's relatively injury-free for it to work out. It's a long season. Once you get to the postseason, anything can happen. We've seen that time and time again. Did you watch the World Series last year?
Yeah, your team was involved.
What is this guy? Oh, my God.
I don't know
the
how...
The whole pitching staff was hurt. It didn't matter.
I honestly, who's worse? Him or Jerry Jones?
Oh, good one.
It's probably the Cowboys because it's football. The fan bases are probably like equal.
Yeah, at least they spent. I mean, they got freed. They spend.
They did a little bit.
Yeah, but Jerry's just, he won't hire a good coach. And
yeah,
it was
so
ridiculous.
The Cowboys are probably worse. But I like lifelong Yankees fans who are fed up. They don't want it. They can't take it anymore. It's like the old Twisted Sister song, we're not going to take. But 3 million people plus will every single year and show up. That was like the common response. So Hal's going to be okay with that.
Incredible line at the end. You know, how do they do this? Woe was me, the Yankees. Come on. Bad for the books. South Florida from 4 up to 6.5. Won by 5. Several bad beats. Ridiculous. Blackhawks Lightning first period over.
I had it.
Tampa scored. Yep, me too. Tampa scores 3 minutes in. Nothing the rest of the way.
With several power plays.
Yep, I guess it could have been worse. Carolina and the Rangers. Carolina scored 50 seconds in, and then nothing the rest of the way. Hawks -5. They led by 18 with 5 minutes left. They won by 4. Excuse me, that's...
Is that...
Who played the Hawks? Rockets, whatever it was.
Rockets on back-to-back last night. Got it.
My fault. Fresno +9. And a viewer said he found 12-1 on the money line. Oh, my aching ass. Wyoming hits a 3 at the buzzer to force overtime. Fresno's catching 9. Wyoming wins by 11 in overtime. You could have cashed it. Come on now. The beats this week in college hoops.
Okay, so quick conversation here. We talk about this all the time. Which sport produces the worst beats? Is it baseball? Is it soccer's tough to beat?
There. Yeah.
But this
is ridiculous.
How can you top this?
Yeah, you're looking at a 12-1 ticket and then you can't even forget the win. They can't even cover 9.
That's the thing, and this happens every year.
Yeah.
Right, there's going to be a 9.5 point dog, like leading the entire game, goes to overtime, they lose by 11 or 12.
Yep. I don't know. San Jose State was 9-1 on the money line. They led the Aztecs by 16 on the road, like 10, 12 minutes left in the game. They lost.
They were killing them from the opening tip.
Oh. In sports betting and trading, understanding probability, the ultimate game changer. Unlock the secrets of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horowitz, former floor trader and seasoned sports bettor. 45 years of experience. Visit BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500 to save $500. Don't miss your chance to sharpen your strategy and gain the edge in your trading game. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500.
Couple of questions here. You can always hit us up. Email is ftm@vsin.com. We're on Instagram. We're on X as well. This is from Andrew on X. He says, what do you think about each team to score in all 4 quarters of the Super Bowl of around 6-1?
Yeah, I saw that. Not bad.
Okay.
There was, touchdown and field goal, both teams, each half is 12-1. I don't think that's crazy. I mentioned rushing touchdown each quarter, 15-1. I like what he said as well. I don't mind that. There's some good stuff out there like that. Yep.
Okay. Again, shop around. You said that you saw overtime as low as what, 7-1?
No.
In the game?
11, as high as 11, and as low as 8.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the low point. Oh, it was 8? Okay. 13-1's available.
Okay, good.
Right? I mean, it's a 1.5 point spread. KC, San Francisco went to overtime last year. It's not out of the realm of possibility here that this game could have an extra period of it. It was obviously very, very close 2 years ago when they played, and I think it's going to, to me, the largest lead of this game, 14.5. I don't think the Chiefs will blow them out. Will the Eagles blow out the Chiefs?
We know a guy, I'll say his name. It's our guy Richie, Crazy Richie from Boston. Great guy. He talked to some people in the New England Patriots organization. They think the Eagles blow them out.
Oh, whoa.
All of them. They think they blow them out. I can't see that. When does the guy, other than the Tampa game when they had so many injuries on the offensive line in a big game, when does this guy, does that? That's the only time it's happened.
I can't see it happening. That was the perfect storm in that game. Offensive line was completely decimated. Buccaneers front 4, they were awesome.
Yep, no time to throw.
And they completely crushed it the entire game. It couldn't be stopped. I mean, the Eagles' defensive line is also very, very good, but the Chiefs, they don't have those similar problems to 2 years ago, or check that now, 4 years ago, when they had those issues against the Buccaneers.
I do like the breakdown, though, that it's a completely different defense from 2 years ago.
It is.
And also a big Fangio compared to Gannon. And you kind of knew what you got when you were facing Gannon. And Mahomes had an easy time of it in the second half. I think it's a different ball game now with Fangio.
Yeah, and people are also bringing up, I threw this prop out there a little bit earlier. Will Mahomes and Hurts each have 5 yards rushing in every quarter? It's 35-1. Of course, the biggest drawback to that whole bet would be the idea of either one of these teams with the ball last, and then they're going to take some knees, and then that could vanish and wipe away anything that you have in the fourth quarter. It happened a couple years ago with Mahomes, with his rushing yards prop. Not only was he taking knees, Pauly, he was taking the snap and running back 6 yards. Now I'll take a knee.
That's why I find that prop interesting.
The negative yards rushing.
Yeah. What if he only has 11 and he does the same thing? 50-1, right? And they also have, will the last play of the game be a quarterback rush? No, plus 170.
No, plus 170. Oh, it could be a team trying to kick a field goal or throw a Hail Mary, whatever it is.
Not bad.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I don't know if the Eagles blow them out. But I think for those of you who grabbed Saquon Barkley 3-1 to win the MVP, I think it's a really good number. And I hate myself for not grabbing it. And here's why. That's no longer available anywhere. And I've talked to 2 different bookmakers today. Both of them that said they cannot see a scenario where he goes back to 3-1.
Okay.
And one of them told me on Monday he was telling the staff 3-1 was way too high to offer. Because A, he's got a great shot to win it. Mm-hmm. I think this person likes the Eagles, and he knew that he was going to take instant bets at 3-1.
Yes, no doubt.
The best I see right now is plus 280. In my head, I'm going back and forth on whether or not it's worth a bet. Can't decide yet. All right. Fun show so far.
What would you need with Goddard?
For what, MVP?
Yeah.
Oh, huge number.
Is 80 good enough?
Let me think. The great Sal Palantonio on the program coming up next. His barber, Eagles fan. The guy who cuts his grass, Eagles fan. Everybody he knows, an Eagles fan. We have to get him to pick the Chiefs.